I worked at our local hotline. It's a hotline for the entire county. We got phone calls from people that were homeless, looking for shelter, for domestic violence victims looking for shelter, for people looking for hospice resources. The most memorable phone call I ever got was from a psychiatrist who had decided to take her own life using pills. And she called not because she wanted to be talked out of it, but because she was concerned about her cat and what would happen to her cat after she passed away. After over an hour of listening and being there for her, I got the joy of hearing the paramedics arrive and save her life, because she could open up and let me know where she lived. Empathy is the capacity to perceive and communicate how another person's feeling as if you were them. It is a great skill that anybody can learn if you put your mind to it. The first thing to learn the skill is you have to have the groundwork, and that is to be present and authentic, and that's both in your mind but in your body language. No one's going to want to, like, yeah, okay, oh, you have to give them, you have to be there for that person. You also have to be open to what they're saying and non-judgmental. You have to create a space where they feel comfortable sharing with you. And you have to be willing to let them dominate the conversation. This is their story that you are there to receive. The first part is asking open questions, getting them to say what's on their mind. You know, what does that mean to you? You want to talk about that? The next is simple phrases to get them to continue on. Oh, wow. Oh, Just encourage them to keep going. Then you have to correctly perceive what it is they're sending your way. Oftentimes with dentistry, I get a lot of anger that's really fear, and if you don't address the underlying fear and what might be going on, they're still going to be angry, unless they're really angry, and then if you address their fear, then they're even more angry. You have to also validate their feelings, and that's meeting them where they are, not where you think they should be, or where you want them to be. One of the key tenets to this listening with empathy or active listening is reflection, is being that other person's sounding board and tentatively putting back what you think that they're putting out. As I hear it, you're saying, or I gather that you're saying, to me it's almost like you're saying, the trick here is to avoid having a catchphrase. If you say that first time you say it, it can be profound. Oh, so what you're saying is. But then you use it over and over and over again, it becomes repetitive, and it really shows that you're not really paying attention to what they're saying. You're just trying to get on to the next thing. You also need to match that other person's tone and energy level. After matching, you can then lead them to where you want them to go. If you have someone who's really, really excited and you're not there, they'll get more passionate because they need to bring you up. Same if somebody's really sad and scared and you're overly bubbly. Also with body language, mirroring somebody else's body language really shows that you're in that same, going down that same path with them, rather than at odds. The trick here, there's a couple pitfalls with empathic listening. The first is you have to avoid helping the other person, trying to problem solve for them before they are ready to hear that. They need to tell their entire story before they're looking for anything. And better yet, is just to help them get to their own answer. You also need to avoid the 3 A's, which are being altruistic, being sympathetic when you're supposed to be empathetic. This often springs from desire to just bring normality to a situation. Oh, just forget about it. I used to have that problem. Being aggressive. And that's basically putting down the person you're talking to. Oh, just quit whining, buck up. Being overly analytic. So they're in an emotional space and dismissing that emotional response. You seem unreasonable. Why are you upset now? Listening with empathy is an important skill, and it is something that I use all the time. And just yesterday, I had a patient on a chair. And it had been many, many years since she'd been to the dentist. She was always putting other people's needs before her own whenever other things came up, and she just would never make herself a priority, and she knew it. And she knew that things were in this state of disrepair, and she was ashamed and terrified by what I might find out. And she started off very, very vulnerable. And it was after an hour of listening with empathy, she felt ready to get started and go on to the treatment that she needed and remove those barriers. So I hope that this gave you another tool in your toolbox. Thank you very much.